Relationships are complex journeys filled with highs and lows, passion and challenges. While every couple hopes for a lifelong commitment, some relationships inevitably reach a point where it becomes clear that it's time to part ways. In this speech, we'll explore the 7 undeniable signs that your relationship has reached its conclusion, and it's time to move on. Sign number 1, the emotional disconnect. One of the most significant indicators that a relationship is over is the emotional disconnect that grows between partners. When you first fell in love, you likely felt an intense emotional connection, a deep understanding, and a sense of intimacy that bound you together. However, as time passes, that connection can gradually erode, leaving you feeling like strangers living under the same roof. The emotional disconnect can manifest in various ways. You may find that communication becomes strained, with conversations devolving into arguments or awkward silences. The little things that used to bring you joy, like inside jokes or shared interests, no longer hold the same magic. You may even catch yourself feeling indifferent or detached from your partner's daily life, their struggles, and their triumphs. This emotional distance can be incredibly painful, as it strips away the very essence of what made your relationship special. You may find yourself yearning for that deep connection you once had, but no matter how hard you try, the emotional intimacy seems to have vanished. It's important to note that emotional disconnects can sometimes be repaired through open communication, couples counseling, and a genuine effort from both partners to rebuild that bond. However, if the emotional chasm persists despite your best efforts, it may be a sign that the relationship has run its course. Sign number 2, the trust has been irreparably broken. Trust is the foundation upon which every healthy relationship is built. Without trust, the relationship is merely a fragile house of cards, susceptible to collapse at the slightest breeze. When trust is shattered, it can be incredibly challenging, if not impossible, to piece it back together. Trust can be broken in numerous ways, from infidelity and betrayal to lies and deception. Regardless of the cause, the aftermath of a broken trust can be devastating. Suddenly, every action, every word, and every decision made by your partner is scrutinized through a lens of doubt and suspicion. The constant questioning and inability to let go of the past can create a toxic environment where love and intimacy struggle to thrive. You may find yourself questioning your partner's whereabouts, their interactions with others, and even their most innocent actions. This persistent doubt can breed resentment, anxiety, and a general sense of unease within the relationship. In some cases, trust can be rebuilt through extensive effort, open communication, and a willingness from both partners to work through the issues. However, if the breach of trust was particularly severe or if repeated instances of betrayal have occurred, the damage may be too great to overcome. When trust is irreparably broken, the relationship loses its foundation, leaving it unstable and vulnerable. In such cases, it may be healthier to acknowledge the irreparable damage and move on, rather than prolonging the pain and uncertainty. Sign number 3, the constant conflict and negativity. Conflict is a natural part of any relationship, as two individuals with their own unique perspectives and experiences are bound to disagree from time to time. However, when conflict becomes the norm rather than the exception, and negativity permeates every interaction, it's a clear sign that the relationship is in trouble. Constant bickering, criticism, and nitpicking can create an environment of hostility and tension, making it increasingly difficult to find joy and happiness within the relationship. Even the smallest disagreements can escalate into full-blown arguments, leaving both partners feeling drained, resentful, and disconnected. This persistent negativity can have a profound impact on the mental and emotional well-being of both individuals. It can breed anxiety, depression, and a general sense of unhappiness, making it challenging to appreciate the positive aspects of the relationship or even find moments of respite from the constant conflict. In some cases, the negativity can extend beyond the confines of the relationship, seeping into other areas of life and affecting work, friendships, and overall well-being. Partners may find themselves walking on eggshells, constantly trying to avoid triggering an argument or confrontation. While it's natural for couples to experience occasional conflicts, a relationship characterized by constant negativity and unresolved tensions is often unsustainable in the long run. If efforts to address the underlying issues and restore positivity and understanding fail, it may be a sign that the relationship has reached an impasse and is no longer serving the emotional needs of either partner. Sign number 4, the loss of intimacy and physical connection. Intimacy and physical connection are essential components of a healthy, fulfilling relationship. When that intimate bond begins to fade, it can be a significant indicator that the relationship is in trouble. Intimacy extends beyond just the physical act of sex, it encompasses the emotional and spiritual connection that binds two partners together. It's the tender touches, the loving embraces, and the small gestures that convey affection and desire. When that intimate connection starts to wane, it can create a sense of distance and loneliness within the relationship. Partners may find themselves craving the physical and emotional closeness they once shared but struggling to rekindle that spark. The loss of intimacy can stem from various factors, such as unresolved conflicts, communication breakdowns, or even external stressors like work or family obligations. However, if the issue persists despite efforts to address the underlying causes, it can be a clear sign that the relationship is fracturing. Intimacy is often a reflection of the emotional bond between partners. When that bond weakens or breaks, the physical connection can suffer as well. Partners may find themselves going through the motions of physical intimacy without the emotional investment or connection that once made it meaningful. In some cases, the loss of intimacy can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, and even infidelity as partners seek to fulfill their emotional and physical needs elsewhere. This, in turn, can further exacerbate the issues within the relationship, creating a vicious cycle of disconnection and mistrust. While it's possible to reignite the spark of intimacy through open communication, counseling, and a genuine commitment from both partners, if the efforts consistently fall short, it may be an indication that the relationship has run its course. Sign number 5, the lack of personal growth and support. Healthy relationships are not only about love and companionship but also about supporting each other's personal growth and aspirations. When one or both partners feel stifled or unsupported in their individual pursuits, it can create a sense of resentment and unfulfillment that ultimately undermines the relationship. Personal growth can take many forms, from pursuing educational or career goals to exploring new hobbies, interests, or personal development opportunities. In a thriving relationship, partners should feel encouraged and supported in their endeavors, celebrating each other's successes and offering a listening ear during times of struggle. However, when one partner consistently dismisses or undermines the other's ambitions, it can create a dynamic of resentment and frustration. The unsupported partner may feel trapped, unable to fully actualize their potential or explore their passions without facing criticism or discouragement from their significant other. This lack of support can also manifest in more subtle ways, such as a partner's unwillingness to make compromises or adjustments to accommodate the other's goals or aspirations. It could be a reluctance to relocate for a career opportunity or an unwillingness to make sacrifices to support the other's pursuit of education or personal development. In some cases, the lack of support can stem from insecurity, fear, or a desire to maintain control within the relationship. However, regardless of the underlying cause, when one partner consistently feels held back or unsupported in their personal growth, it can create a rift that is difficult to mend. While it's essential for both partners to strike a balance between individual pursuits and the needs of the relationship, a relationship that consistently stifles personal growth and aspirations is unlikely to be sustainable in the long run. If efforts to address the issue and find a compromise fail, it may be a sign that the relationship has reached an impasse and is no longer serving the best interests of both individuals. Sign number 6, the persistent contempt and disrespect. It's a corrosive force that chips away at the trust, intimacy, and mutual respect that once defined the relationship. When partners treat each other with contempt, it creates an environment of hostility, resentment, and emotional toxicity that can be incredibly damaging to both individuals. Contempt often stems from deeper issues within the relationship, such as unresolved conflicts, communication breakdowns, or a fundamental lack of appreciation for one another. It can also be a byproduct of resentment that has been allowed to fester and grow over time, poisoning the well of goodwill and affection that once existed between partners. In some cases, contempt can be a defense mechanism, a way for one partner to regain a sense of control or superiority in the face of perceived slights or grievances. However, this coping mechanism ultimately does more harm than good, eroding the foundation of the relationship and creating an environment where genuine connection and intimacy cannot thrive. While it's natural for couples to experience occasional frustrations or disagreements, persistent contempt and disrespect are often indicative of deeper issues that may be beyond repair. If efforts to address the underlying causes and restore mutual respect and appreciation fail, it may be a sign that the relationship has reached a point where the emotional damage is too great to overcome. Contempt is a toxic force that can have far-reaching consequences, not only for the relationship but also for the mental and emotional well-being of both partners. When disrespect becomes the norm, it can be incredibly difficult to recapture the love, trust, and admiration that once defined the relationship. Sign number 7, the overwhelming sense of incompatibility. In the early stages of a relationship, compatibility can often be overshadowed by the intoxicating rush of new love and infatuation. However, as the relationship matures and the initial euphoria fades, the stark realities of incompatibility can become increasingly apparent and harder to ignore. Incompatibility can manifest in various ways, from conflicting values and life goals to fundamental differences in personality, interests, and approaches to problem solving. It could be a divergence in religious or political beliefs, opposing views on crucial life decisions like having children or managing finances, or simply a growing realization that the two individuals are fundamentally incompatible on a deeper level. When partners find themselves at odds over crucial aspects of their lives, it can create an overwhelming sense of frustration, resentment, and unfulfillment. Despite their best efforts, they may feel like they are constantly butting heads, unable to find common ground or a shared vision for their future together. In some cases, incompatibility can be overcome through compromise, open communication, and a willingness to adapt and grow together. However, if the differences are too fundamental or if one or both partners are unwilling to make the necessary concessions, the relationship may ultimately reach an impasse. Incompatibility can also manifest in more subtle ways, such as a growing sense of disconnect or a feeling that the relationship is lacking in depth or substance. Partners may find themselves drifting apart, their lives becoming increasingly separate and disconnected, with little common ground or shared experiences to bind them together. When the overwhelming sense of incompatibility persists, despite efforts to bridge the gap, it can be a clear sign that the relationship has reached its natural conclusion. Continuing to force a union that is fundamentally incompatible can lead to prolonged unhappiness, resentment, and a sense of unfulfillment for both individuals. In such cases, acknowledging the incompatibility and making the difficult decision to part ways may be the healthiest choice, allowing both partners to pursue relationships and life paths that are better aligned with their values, goals, and compatible. Conclusion. Recognizing the signs that a relationship has reached its end is a difficult and often painful process. However, by acknowledging these 7 undeniable indicators, you can approach the situation with clarity, self-awareness, and a commitment to your personal growth and well-being. It's important to remember that every relationship is unique, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Some relationships may be able to weather the storms and emerge stronger on the other side, while others may have reached an irreparable impasse. Ultimately, the decision to end a relationship is a deeply personal one, and it's crucial to approach it with honesty, empathy, and a willingness to prioritize your own emotional and mental health. If you find yourself recognizing these signs in your own relationship, it may be time to have an open and honest conversation with your partner, seek professional counseling, or, if necessary, make the difficult choice to walk away and embark on a new chapter of your life. Remember, the end of a relationship is not a failure but rather an opportunity for growth, self-discovery, and the pursuit of a life that is truly fulfilling and authentic to who you are.